You had a experience coming here? Because I thought you were gonna cry when you walked in. I think you were kind of.
I have the worst, absolute worst luck with Ubers. The amount of Ubers that I've gotten banned from Uber.
The weird thing is though, every time we do this, you're like, "What is your address?"
Well, I got the address right this time, but he didn't take me to the right address.
Yeah, that's really weird. I've never had an Uber take me to the wrong place ever. If it was gonna happen to anyone, it was gonna happen to you.
Yeah, we won't talk about this because some men in my life will get very angry after hearing this because I'm planning not to tell anyone about what happened.
I mean, yeah, I know which guy is probably gonna get angry, and rightfully so. He should. I was pretty pissed off too, especially with. Okay, we're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, it's all good. I made it here. We've got some carrots.
Yeah, that's all you. I don't do carrots.
Why?
I don't know. I don't like them.
Really?
I'll have one, but...
Well, at least have a good one. Pick like a nice one.
Yeah, that one looks a little
Not
funky.
that one.
I like loathe carrots.
Why?
I don't know. People kept saying like they're good for your eyes, and I have really good eyes, and I've never eaten a carrot. Except now.
So...
It doesn't taste good.
How was your yesterday?
Yesterday was okay. Last week was pretty bad. I think the moon is in retrograde.
Yeah.
Or the Mercury's in retrograde, whatever people say. But yeah, it's been bad. Lots of weird things happening to a lot of people. I think you will agree. Like today was bad for you. I think it's still in retrograde.
I had a good day yesterday.
Okay, fine. Maybe you're immune to this, but
No, what the heck?
I'm like scared to like cross the street right now.
Well, thanks. Now I'm scared to go home.
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to ask you for this episode was your experience with a previous employer.
Why are you so curious about this?
Because of what you told me, and it just threw me off. And I don't. You can stop me if I'm prying too much.
No problem.
But we need a safe word here.
We do. We can call them
Teddy bears.
teddy bears or drywall.
Sure.
They ain't teddy bears.
Fine.
Oh shit, teddy bears? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Not teddy bears.
Okay. So I've had a lot of experience in the toxic workplace.
Me too.
I have no problem talking about this one, but yeah, we should just share our toxic experiences because I feel like a lot of people are just stuck right now.
You're right. I got out, and I'm very happy that I got out.
Yeah.
You got out. Let's talk about yours first.
Okay, so my one, like, I will just explicitly state, and it's not hidden. If you go on my LinkedIn, you can clearly see where I first worked. And and I keep it there because I feel like it was a big building block for my life. But yeah, I tend to delete many positions. Just, I don't know. I seem sketchy, but it's really not.
You delete positions off of LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I mean,
just
yeah,
that
sure.
aren't like hyper relevant anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's like a resume.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like I put the better one of the two, you know?
Yeah. Okay, but so is drywall not on it anymore?
Drywall's on it.
Okay.
Anyways, this first corporation, everyone will know it's big and red. We don't have to talk about who they are, but I from the moment I stepped in there, I knew these women didn't like me.
Why?
The way they looked at me, the way they spoke, I knew it was just a little off, and I also knew that they were giving me the benefit of the doubt to make sure I was, maybe a decent human. So I do give them that.
But were they like, grieving over your person who you took a job from?
Oh, interesting. I was being compared to someone,
Was he like?
but it was a co-op.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah,
that's
it
weird.
was very different. Yeah, he was supposed to leave. But anyways, yeah, I walked in and I feel like this is the first time I felt uncomfortable with the color of my skin too, because I looked around and everyone looked the same. And I feel like, I'm half brown and half white, but I feel like I don't get everything my mom gets because I'm white passing. And I feel so bad for her that she gets everything. But for one of the first times since, I don't know, high school, elementary school, I was like, oh my God, I'm different. I feel awkward. I don't fit in. And And I felt like I just wasn't in the light-skinned girl group. I don't want to explicitly say racism, but I just felt awkward. You know,
You weren't in that group?
No, because I was too brown. I don't know. This is how I felt, though. I don't want to make accusations, but this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, you can walk into certain places, too, and be like, I don't fit in here, without them being racist.
So this was your co-op?
It wasn't my co-op. It was just my first job.
Okay. But you've dealt with a little bit of racism in your first job.
I don't want to say I've dealt with racism, but I've dealt with feeling like I didn't fit.
Why don't you want to say the R word?
They're not. They're very nice people. They're to other people. This is how I felt when I walked down the hallway. That's all. So I already felt kind of weird. I felt like I didn't fit in personality-wise, look-wise. I just felt like it just, I don't know, something felt really off. I worked really hard there, but I felt like, you know, my direct report was very, like, condescending. She just didn't like me. I just felt like I was stepped on a lot. And I think within my first month, she knew she wanted to get rid of me as soon as possible.
How long did you work there?
I think I was there for 6 to 8 months. I don't know exactly, but I had a little contract, and it was supposed to extend to, you know, a big position. But yeah, it got so bad that I was going home, and this is when I really started learning how to cry. I started crying a lot.
You had to learn how to cry.
Yeah, because my parents don't let me cry. So that's another that's something else.
We can go off on that tangent, because that's a big mic drop right there. Like,
this is gonna become a Morgan trauma episode. No, I was going home crying every day. I remember one time I was so dizzy. I was crying on my way home. I walked right into my door. I felt like I got a concussion and went to the clinic down the street. They're like, you got a minor concussion.
Oh my
happened? God. It just kept getting worse from there. And you know, when women, I feel like women, and men too, honestly, but they're so smart.
Yeah, you guys are like psychological warfare with you guys.
You know, they know how to manipulate, get under your skin. And you feel trapped. You feel like you can't even go to their upper or even their upper's upper and tell them what happened.
But why'd you stick around? It was just a co-op job.
It wasn't a co-op job. It was my job. And it was just the previous person was a co-op, but it was an entry-level position.
Right.
Because I had rent to pay.
Right.
I didn't have like my family's help. I had to bring in groceries. I had to, you know, do the big girl things, and you know, as an entry-level employee, I couldn't just leave. Like, that's scary. I was just panicking every day, like, oh my God, I have so many things to pay for, like, just like, what's gonna happen? And I just entered full-blown panic mode. Anyways, it got worse and worse and worse, and I actually did a podcast on this, but an associate vice president picked me up at this company. I was walking around with papers, and he's like, what is that? I'm like, I feel like I solved a big issue. Like, they can make, you know, 50 million in revenue if they just like cut these few things out and adjust this. And he looked at it, and I remember him, I don't know, just one thing led to the next, and I was working full time for him right after I got booted. And you know, he said, nope, I'm extending her contract. She's working for me. And, you know, in those 2 months, he said, you need to leave here.
That's cool. I mean, at least it led to a good network.
Yeah.
Like a good contact. It's funny how that works, but like, I think that's your other passion project. Is that what it led to? The creative collective minds? Collective brains,
but
Sorry.
Many people say collective minds, so I wonder if like that's just a better name.
No, I think I was merging both of our name.
Yeah, you have true. No, he pretty much he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a consultant. I that's what I aspire to be. And he's like, well, sorry to break it to you, but if you were a consultant, you'd be doing that already. So why don't you look for an entry-level position at an agency? And I was like, holy tough love. And I was like, and then I just got angry, and I was like, no, I'm going to be a consultant. And then I started being a consultant. So.
Okay. That's good. I mean, sometimes you just need that one person to say you can't do it.
Yeah, and one person means a lot to you to say you can't do it, but saying you can't do it for a reason. I think he knew I would turn my back and be like, no, I'm turning down all these positions you're trying to give me, and I'm gonna go try and make money somewhere else.
Okay, so clearly not the best first experience
No.
with your. It wasn't your career, was it?
No, I was like the
was the
starting point in my career. Yeah.
Okay, so then I don't know how many places you bounced around in between that and drywall.
Well, I was just consulting.
Even at drywall?
No, through all
throughout.
those years to drywall, I was just consulting. So I was literally living my best life, helped found 2 startups in Seattle.
When you told me you got the position at drywall, I thought that was cool because I was like, damn, that's badass. Like, that's a pretty big name. And you were doing some pretty cool things. And I was following you on LinkedIn. And in a very short period of time, that went downhill very quickly. Because that was the time when we were planning this. And you were just like, you know what, I'm too busy. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You just got a new job. But then you told me what was happening. And then the last, like, nail in the coffin. Are you okay with talking about that?
I'll say a few things now. And we can maybe save the juice for a little more down the line. But
I think the juice is ready right now.
no, I feel like the juice was finally ready for that first job only this year. And it's been like 7 years or something.
Yeah.
But so for this one, my biggest thing is you can disrespect me because I can hold my own. But don't you dare disrespect other people. And I found a particular gender was being disrespected. I didn't like it. They were coming to me. Certain people were coming to me and saying, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel important. They were talking about their worth. And, you know, my boss, who is my favorite person in the whole wide world, and like I still refer to her as my boss, it's crazy. That's why I don't want to talk smack just yet.
At drywall.
Yes.
Your boss at drywall, you have a lot of respect
I absolutely love her, and I will never ever say anything bad about her. She is just awesome.
Okay.
She told me that when there's really bad things that I can't control, because I'm used to controlling things and making them better. Like, if this is not working, hey guys, why don't you do this, and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't control this person and how they were treating others, and I lost my mind, because if you don't treat these people well, that directly affects me, because it's a very collaborative environment. And it got really bad. It got really toxic. It got really bad with the way I was treated. And, you know, I had to just, like, it's funny because it's kind of a blur to me. I had to ask Matt, like, because I'm like, I think that was my favorite job ever. It's just like, it's a blackout for me. And he's like, Morgan, I didn't know who you were for those 8 months.
Okay, well, but there was the Christmas incident. Or was it New Year's?
I think that was when I was on mental health week.
Worst time for that to happen. But again, like, I don't know if you want to even talk about that, but that's the part that made me, like, I don't know. I think I gained a lot more respect for you after you told me that.
That I was on mental health week.
No, okay. Are you sure you know what I'm talking about here?
No.
There was a situation.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That's how much, like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you needed Matt tag.
Oh
like,
my god, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, there was something very bad. Okay.
So I when you told me about the situation, I gained a lot of respect for you, because I thought you were going to do what most people would have done, offended more from a physical standpoint, but you were more offended about your mind not being taken seriously, like your thoughts.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like, I was like, okay, you don't hear that every day.
Diss anything about me, but don't freaking diss my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was not okay. Oh my god, I can't believe you brought that up. That's funny. That's blacked out from my memory. It's like that was another life. Is that how trauma works?
That's how trauma works.
Enough about me. Tell me your trauma in the toxic workplace.
So you seem like you had a couple of places that you dealt with trauma.
Just 1.5.
Okay, 1.5.
And I've worked in a lot of places.
I don't know how the half works, but fine, 1.5. I got lucky. I only got one, But for me, it was pretty bad.
How old were you?
27?
Oh,
Why? Why is
that's
that
a hard
bad?
age. It's a hard age to have trauma. You think you're almost adult, and then, you know...
You are
all
an
the
adult.
all the problems go away. Anyways, okay.
This was different. This wasn't an adult thing. This was a racism thing, right? And I never dealt with racism ever in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah. So this was bad because it made me feel really small, really just kind of like, okay, I can't change this, right? So I felt stuck.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So like, I think I'm gonna do what you did. I'm not gonna name drop because I think that's wrong because there were good experiences there. So let's call it floorboard.
Okay.
So floorboard hospital because everyone knows it was a hospital.
This was a hospital?
Well, that's what I went to school for, right? Like I was a bartender, I was a personal trainer, all great
this was a
jobs.
hospital. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, right? Like,
Oh my god.
so yeah, it sucks. And it was great when I first started,
Yeah.
right? It was a lot of fun, met a lot of cool people, and I was doing really good work. I was making really good connections, and I don't know what changed. I think I started realizing how dirty it is at the top
Yeah.
and started questioning a couple of things. And I started realizing, I'm like, okay, I don't really agree with some of this stuff. So just by speaking my mind, I was kind of shunned.
What didn't you agree with?
The archaicness of some processes, it was really minor stuff, right? But some people, they were paid not to change, which was really bothering
Are you able
me.
to give an example?
Okay, like everyone these days are trying to go paperless.
Yes.
This place did not want to do that.
Okay.
Right? It was a simple process change, and
Could reduce a lot of labor, and they're just...
I jumped through their hoops too. I went through the whole process change process. I showed them that this is how much money you can save, this is how much time you can save. Everything comes down to like, okay, I'm gonna save 6 seconds here. Great. Right?
Yeah.
I did all that, and they were impressed with the work, but someone higher up was like, no, we're not gonna do it.
Do what?
Change.
Oh, right.
Right. So I was just like, okay, this is like a simple thing. We're just trying to move forward in life
Yeah.
a little bit. So that's just one small example, right? But like when I started climbing the ladder a little bit more and I started realizing what they actually do at the top, it didn't really sit well with me.
Yeah.
So I would speak my mind a little bit more. They didn't like it. Then I would apply for certain positions, right?
Internally.
Internally. These were all
Okay.
internal positions. And I was more than qualified. They even asked me, they're like, do you want it? I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right. I'll work for it. And when it came down to making a decision, they went with the most inefficient decision possible. They
What's that
found
mean?
like they knew the person that they were going to hire. They wanted someone that's a yes man,
Oh.
right? They knew this person was gonna be a yes
Is
man.
this where the racism started to play?
Little bit, right? Because
Yeah.
there were two other candidates. Both were colored like me.
Yeah.
We were both highly qualified to take the role. They went with someone else who they knew is going to agree with everything they say.
Yeah.
And we told them, look, this is not going to work. They left the organization because they couldn't handle it on the bench level.
Yeah.
Now you want that same person who couldn't handle the bench level to lead the whole bench. How does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Right? And this is an internal position.
Yeah.
So everyone, there was an uproar. Everyone was like, how does this make any sense? They lost a lot of respect for leadership. The other candidates, they threw a fit and they left.
Yeah.
I stayed.
Right.
And then I was told, like, okay, you know what? You need to help this person.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was like, you didn't give me the position. Now you want me to help do the job that I told you they couldn't do.
Yeah.
Right? But again, I was just like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to do it. So my superior, who I still respect to this day, they eventually realized that they made a mistake.
Right.
After I showed them, I'm like, look, all the other candidates, they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Not in that position, not in the position that I deserve, but I'm doing the job. I am just here asking you, where do I go from here? Because
Yeah.
I feel stuck. Right? And they're just like, look, there's only so many positions, and which I understand, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just create a position for me. So then I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of fed up. I want to stop doing work that I'm not getting paid for.
Of course, yeah.
Just demote me.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, no, we can't do that. So I'm like, okay, so I can't move up, I can't move down. I'm stuck. And I'm dealing with the politics of his superiors.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with the racism of not being promoted just because of the color of my skin, right? Not even being taken seriously because of the color of my skin.
Yeah.
And even to the point where they were calling me by the wrong name too. They were calling me Raj. I'm like, dude, like,
Yeah.
this is like,
Yeah,
that's just blatant right there.
Yeah.
But you can't bring up the R word. You can't bring up racism in the workplace because
course, yeah.
everyone loses their shit when you do that, right? So I dealt with it. I took their shit for like 7 years, and then every night I'll come home, I'll be pissed off and I'll be stressed out, and Irvi would be like, "You just gotta leave. Like this is affecting your health."
Yeah.
And we've already kind of started Access at this point, but I was never planning on being with Access. That was my career. I was planning on building that career.
Right.
This was Irvi's thing, and it got worse and worse. And I was just like, you know, enough's enough. So I left for another floorboard hospital, which I had a good experience at. But like the previous company, they went downhill very quickly. And I'm not saying that made me happy, but
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly sad about it because
Yeah.
I'm like, we all told you what to do.
Yeah.
You were paid not to change, and this is what happens.
It doesn't matter. That's still. It only takes.
It was,
an
yeah,
instance
and it
to-
ruined my career.
Yeah.
Right? It just
Yeah.
I didn't want anything to do with it, and I'm happier now because now my goal, my MO with Axis is literally do the exact opposite
Yep.
of this other company, and guess what is working?
Yep.
Right, the culture here is amazing. It is the culture we used to have
Yeah.
until they decided to be racist assholes.
I trust me. I get it. That's why I started consulting and never stopped.
Yeah, right. Like
Until
you're
I
in more
ended-
control that
until
way
I ended
too.
up at.
Was it called drywall?
I'm a 9-to-5 girl.
Yeah.
Definitely. I understand that, and I think that's what so many entrepreneurs say. They always have some story of just blatant racism, toxic. Even my partner, who he's very freaking smart. He was a CMO of Microsoft in South America, and he left Microsoft to start his own startup because they were pretty much paying him to say certain things, exactly what you said, to other employees, fire them.
Yeah.
He's seen racism, he's seen all of that, and he was just like, no. He's like, no, nope, goodbye, and he left because
That's good, right? Like you got to stand up for yourself. And that's what I did too, right? Even when I was at these like big meetings during COVID, I was at those head tables, and the CEOs and the CFOs are all talking about, okay, let's change this number, you know, and you know this amount of deaths or like literally, like, these are patients, right? And they're fudging the numbers to get more PPE, to get more funding from the government. And in my head, I'm like, okay, we can't do that. Like, I'm not going to be a part of this. And people are kicking me under the table.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't speak to her that way. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the end of the day, you got to choose who you really are as a person. I'm not a sellout.
Yeah.
Right? I decided not to be the sellout, so I left.
Same, I'll always be loud too. If I don't like something,
yeah, you be loud. And you're really loud, actually. But I wish I was louder before. But I had bills to pay.
I understand that, and those were the days that I was quiet, and I always make sure I'm not financially tied to anyone.
Yeah.
I make sure I'm in control of my money.
Yeah.
I know how much money I want to make this month, and that's a hard place to get to. It's not easy, but once you're there, it just feels amazing. Like, you don't have to listen to anyone.
Yeah, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
I don't really look back. I missed the work because I loved the job. Definitely don't miss the politics.
No, it's not worth it.
Cool.